Hello, I'm Shawn Green, Vice President of Product Management for KI. We'll be spending some time together today as we go through the 2010 NeoCon Showroom and some of the product designs and concepts that make up our 2010 offering. Simplification, unification, scale, form. A desire to create a long-lasting form based upon simplification and customer-driven functionality or forms. That's really the heart of the KI design philosophy. It's responding to trends without being trendy. It's about designing products that are customer-driven, and that customer-driven philosophy really stems back to our market focus, whether it be healthcare, business market, college, university, K through 12. Each product is designed with the consideration of purpose. We'll be spending some time together today extending up that design philosophy to products like, for example, our new Unite panel system, as well as our Lyra Lounge collection, and a whole host of other new product introductions. As we begin to think about simplicity and unification, Unite is the first product that comes to mind for us here at KI in terms of providing that unification element throughout our showroom, connecting not only KI products, but also as a unifying element between KI markets. And what Unite is, rather than calling it a panel system, we're really referring to it as a system because it has a systemic or connection relationship or connectivity relationship with so many KI products, whether lounge collections or tables, seating, even a physical connection with our Genius wall. It becomes that unifying element that links those markets and allows for different levels of either integration or collaboration. And we do this by providing a very simple and clean platform in the sense of having the panel itself be less of a dominant element in the space and more of a passive architectural element, allowing it to work much more harmoniously within a space. The emphasis here is on the horizontality, keeping it very clean, very rectilinear. We've eliminated a lot of the extraneous noise and clutter associated with systems. You don't see a lot of segmentation or heavy emphasis on features and benefits that don't necessarily tie in with our markets. Within the business market focus, we have some wonderful new products this year that we've designed and developed specifically for that market. First and foremost is the new Unite system. Unite is that unifying element between furniture and architecture to create meaningful spaces, and that really was built upon from a design philosophy standpoint off of what we've done with the Genius wall. When you think about Genius wall and what it does for that business market focus, not only does it provide privacy, but also it creates some very visually compelling spaces as well. It really is, in true essence, again, very similar to Unite, a unifying element between architecture and furniture to create meaningful spaces. In this case, what we've done here is we've created a smaller private office adjacent to these independent workstations. The focus here is much more on the strong rectilinear proportions and size, as well as the surface materiality. By employing Genius wall, we can come up with some very elegant product solutions in terms of defining and dividing space. It's almost a layering effect, if you will, where we can begin to take materials like a glass, in this case we're using butt glazed glazing, and then some very interesting visual materials to add texture and depth and warmth to the product. Things like, for example, back painted glass allow for the ability to support markable surfaces. We can add additional visual interest via the steel panels with vinyl covers. We can begin to really experience the product on a number of different levels, both visually and tactically, depending on what the application intent is for that given customer. When we talk about unification and simplicity, one of the things that comes to mind for me is the platform approach to design and having the ability to take a very clean form and to, based upon the application intent or the consideration of purpose, have a dynamic language, if you will, to support the product for it to be able to plan in different types of environments. Lyra, our latest and newest lounge collection, is a perfect example of that. With its strong mid-century design aesthetic that facilitates applications across a wide spectrum of environments, including collaborative settings or more formal settings, does so with a very animated leg language that goes anywhere from a 4-wood leg configuration to a sled base, all the way to more of a conical lounge collection type base that allows for a higher degree of visual interest while keeping those design cues very, very consistent as you move throughout an environment. When designing healthcare products, or more importantly when programming a healthcare space, it's important to understand the dynamics that we need to respond to as a manufacturer, and specifically what are the needs of the patients, the family, and the staff within a healthcare environment. And demonstrating products within an event like, let's say for example, NeoCon becomes somewhat difficult in the sense that you don't want to be real literal. You want to be able to display the products in such a way that the customers or designers or specifiers can understand the products and the environments and the relationships without having a literal platform to work from. So in essence, creating implied spaces. When we look to this particular market in terms of designing product responses for either the patient, the family, or the staff, some of the cues that we really look toward are things, for example, a more residential feel to the space. As we walk through the healthcare space here in Chicago, one of the things that you won't see are these little interpretations. You won't see a healthcare bed, for example, or a very clinical feel. It's really our desire to create much more of a spa-like atmosphere. And that's really in line with the expectation that healthcare programmers, architects, designers, and more importantly, the healthcare staff have in mind when relating to patients within these environments. So it's really important that our products be functional, they're obviously durable, but they need to have embedded with them much more of a residential design language that elevates these environments to really play into that spa-type atmosphere. Within the education environment, it's really important to understand how students relate to products. With that understanding, we can really approach that market with the appropriate design solutions. In the case of, let's say for example, collaboration zones, or where students come together with other students to work on projects, one of the areas that we found was lacking was in the area of lounge selections. More often than not, residential products are really prescribed into these spaces. The issue with that is that they tend to be smaller in scale. The overall form is not necessarily conducive from a comfort standpoint, and they just don't necessarily have the durability that you need to be successful. This particular product is called Sela, and it was designed to provide generous form and scale, as well as proportions that are conducive to unorthodox seating styles, so allowing students to engage the product the way that they choose to. So in essence, really, students can lounge upon, lie upon, and sit in this product and have the product adapt to their needs. As you can see, it has very generous proportions, allowing me to sit literally cross-legged in the product. Students can lie up on the product and get comfortable in the product. It's very analogous to thinking, where was the last place that these students were before going to college, university? They were in their homes. And when was the last time that you saw any teenager or a college-age student engaging in a product in a very upright or adroit fashion? Typically, they want to get as comfortable as possible, and really, from a consideration standpoint, they're not worried about putting their feet on the product. They're going to do that. So we responded with Sela, and Sela to this date has been a very successful product for KI because it is a vertically market-driven solution that responds to the needs of students for a higher degree of comfort, as well as that generous form and proportion and scale. The key to success in the education market is understanding the adaptive nature of products and the product's ability to respond to technology. At KI, we don't manufacture the technology, but what we do is we understand the technology is there, and the technology is constantly changing. So it's incumbent upon us as a manufacturer to be able to support different types of technology within our products. For example, in areas where, let's say for need or purpose, the particular classroom might be used for an English class at one moment and then a mathematics class at another moment during the day. Technology can be embedded into the products in a very seamless nature to be able to respond to different types of educational practices or curriculum. In this case, this is a new product called SmartLift. And what this product does is a very simple and clean way of stowing the flat screen monitor within the workstation. So for example, again, I go back to if it's a computer lab at one point in the day, that computer lab could transform into a different type of learning scenario by having the ability to store away the flat screen monitor. Or when we look at technology, we think about things, for example, like CPUs and where we house CPUs. In this case, this is much more of a European-style desking approach. The typical option in this type of environment would be to suspend the CPUs below the work surface. What this does is decreases the amount of knee clearance that you have. It also makes the CPUs accessible from a vandalism standpoint or potentially theft. What we've done this year is we've taken a product called Power Desk, and we've embedded that product into our work surfaces. In essence, what this is a remote control unit that operates the CPUs for this particular monitor and the adjacent monitors on an off-site location. In essence, what we've done here is we've moved the CPUs from the underside of the surface and placed them in a centralized locker unit that can be secured and really eliminate or protect the product from potential theft. The other component here, or the other product that we're demonstrating from a technology standpoint, is this whole concept of wireless power. In this case, what we've done is something, for example, like taking this lamp, which doesn't have a power cord, and by having the technology embedded within the surface, we can support power distribution without cables, allowing for a much cleaner, much more visually appealing setting when we've eliminated all of those power cords and so forth that are traditionally there. It also, and it frees up the user from those tethers, if you will. This is a wonderfully exciting time for KI as we see, in essence, a rebirth or a genesis in our design language as we work to provide our clients with simple, durable, long-lasting forms that respond to the market with different levels of innovation and technology based upon our customers' needs set. Always with a core market focus, always with a focus on quality and delivering the best design solutions possible. Thank you.